Are you ready to find peace in your heart? Of course you do. I'm Coach EaZy, and welcome to the 'Cause It's Easy show. As an empowered empath, empowering mindsets, and confidence through adversity, I will help you connect and conquer. Listen in as we talk real about serious concerns in the world and learn how by working together we can make life amazing. You are the ultimate number one in your life, and that's why you can be whoever you want and do whatever you want without worrying what anyone else thinks. Why? Because it's easy with me, Coach EaZy. I believe there is a path to an easier way, and having God in your life is the key. On this show, laughter is a promise, and music is the spiritual language. Because it's easy. Starts now. Well, how we doing? Because it's easy show here with Coach EaZy on the TTN Radio, Talk Radio. How's everybody going? Last week I went a little bit too far. I got shut off. I forgot. I didn't realize how much time I had left. So we're going to continue where we were at, talking about empowerment, what we can do to empower. And the reason is because I'm just about to give out my new program and course for everybody to get empowered. In this day and age, you got to be empowered. We always talk about empowering women, but everybody needs to be empowered. There's so many reasons for it. Just for instance, knowing everything you need to know in life. And I know for an example here, for a lot of things, we're dealing with law. Know your law, know your Constitution, know all those things. That'll help empower you. And anything you do, though, the more you know, the more information you have on whatever it is, the stronger and more empowered you can be. Not knowing stuff will weaken you quick as can be. And it's just for your own good, not for any other reason, but just for your own good. So I spoke a little bit about the definition. There's all kinds of different definitions for empowerment. And they're different, I guess, areas it's used in. I'm just going to give you another one here. So one of the main ones are, for the term is intentional ongoing process centered in the local community involving mutual respect, critical reflection, caring, and group participation, through which people lacking an equal share of resources gain greater access to and control over those resources. I mean, it's an example since been a subject of late, back when it was, before the civil rights. They got empowered. Martin Luther King's help, they got empowered, and they got everything they were supposed to get, or they should have, like us, like everybody else. And that was basically empowerment. That's kind of where I remember the word being kind of used a lot. And then you started hearing it with women being empowered. And they've done a great job of that. Maybe a little almost too much. And they've done great things. So many people are pretty much just take it. And I was one of those people. I just didn't want to ruffle feathers, and sometimes you got to ruffle feathers. That doesn't mean you got to be deliberately hard to work with. That doesn't really define empowerment. Empowerment just makes sure it goes along with setting boundaries. And there's so much to it. That's why I've got this course, and I've been researching and studying this for 3 years at least. There's so much involved in it. You can't, empowering me don't break the law, or don't go against the law, or don't go against what's right and wrong. Just think you can do whatever you want. There's some guidelines a little bit there, but it's close. Because too many times we're told we can't do something and we just go, okay. Or why women just were told they had to be home and take care of the kids, and that's what their job was. And that's not necessarily the case. It's a choice thing. Everybody has a choice. That's what she wants to do. That's great. If she wants to go out and be a rock star in the working world, then she gets to do that too. That's an empowered woman. Don't ever settle for second best. You should always go for what you want. If you don't get it, you don't get it, but you don't have to quit. I don't ever tell you, don't quit. You can rest, but don't quit. So, kind of a strategy And this helps with assisting, maybe marginalized people to create their own nonprofit organization using the rationale that only the marginalized people themselves can know what their own people need most. And that control of the organization by outsiders can actually help further strengthen the marginalization. Charitable organizations lead from outside the community, for example, can disempower the community by entrenching a dependence on charity or welfare. A nonprofit organization can target strategies that cause structural changes, reduces the need for ongoing dependence. Being empowered means getting away from having someone, you have to rely on someone to take care of yourself or to help you get through things. There's nothing wrong with doing it temporarily, even says. But you don't want someone controlling your money or controlling what you can spend on it or you can do with life. That's being unpowered. I've had to use it. So, it's not necessarily a bad thing. A lot of people go through it, but to stay on it, you're just weakening yourself big time. So the process which enables individuals, groups to fully access personal or collective power, authority, and influence, and to employ the strength when engaging with other people, institutions, or society. Empowerment is not giving people power. People already have plenty of power in the wealth of their knowledge and motivation to do their jobs magnificently. We define empowerment as letting the power out. Encourage people to gain the skills and knowledge that will allow them to overcome obstacles in life or work environment, and ultimately help them develop within themselves or in the society. So that's what part of my thing is but sometimes we just don't have the tools, or we don't have the knowledge or the information. And that's what I was sick of not having, is not knowing things. That will weaken you so much. I keep saying that. When you don't know something, the old phrase, knowledge is power. That's no joke. I've got a wealth of knowledge that I never used to have. And that's just because I've had the opportunity, because it's just, unfortunately, COVID took me out of work. And then that's kind of what I've done. And then that's kind of expanded into, well, shit, I want to teach other people this. I want everybody to have this opportunity, because it sucks being weak and not knowing what you're talking about, or being dependent on other people. Because I've never been one to ask for help anyway. Part of my unfortunate mentality sometimes is I will try to figure it out myself, because I'm stubborn. Sometimes what I don't want to do is I don't want to put people out. Because that's how some people make you feel, like you're bothering them. So I just don't even do it. Then again, there's times you need to just ask somebody for help. And I've learned to do that better. But you don't want to rely on somebody all the time, or for instance, a government, or you want to rely on family to help do everything for you. I had a friend, I ain't gonna lie, he probably ain't watching, so I don't care. But no, when we lived together for years, he didn't know how to write a check. It's so funny. I used to make fun of him because we were out of high school at this time, right? I know they don't teach us much at school, but I know I found it funny at the time, but now I realize, nobody ever showed him, never had to do it. He had his parents, then we kind of moved in together after high school, and then I just took care of the bills, and he would pay me cash for the bills, right? And I would always write out the checks. And then when him and his girlfriend, now wife, but when they decided to live together, she didn't know how to do it still, so she did it. But I'm pretty sure he's learned now. But what I'm saying is that's tough when you have to rely on somebody to do certain things for you. I would hate that. And there's been times where I'm like, God, I don't know what I'm doing. For instance, even my business. I get, because I'm old, caught up with the computer shit. I'm not tech savvy. I'm pretty phone savvy, but there's so much stuff you got to do on the computer. Then I love that I've got my new friend, Jonathan, my producer here, who I think he's here.
That's me. I'm right here with you, bro.
I'm gonna lean on him here. So us old guys, us old folk, we weren't tech savvy. I didn't have a cell phone until I was 25. How old were you?
when I started texting. I want to say I think I was
Something like just computers and everything, phones. Like when's the first time you had a phone?
all right. So I was born in 1992. So
20 years behind me.
my mom she was a computer science major, so we always had a computer in the house once I started to be conscious and cognizant of everything. So I had a computer in my house since maybe I was 9 years old.
Okay. I had one too. I had a Commodore 64, and we had floppy disks, and that was kind of the limit.
Yeah, I remember floppy disks. I used a lot of floppy disks in my time for photos, videos, and stuff like that. Yeah.
Freudian slip.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Well, that's what I'm saying. So us old dudes, we don't have that much skills. Some of us do, but it was born into you guys. I mean, not you so much, but even younger than you, they was we're born with a phone in their hand.
Yeah, because I didn't have iPads like most kids nowadays. When 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, they have iPad games. I was at the dog park the other day. I was there with my dog, obviously, and there was a kid who just had a big iPad in his hand, and he was just playing games while the mom was sitting there on her phone on the bench. And they were there letting the dog play, and it was just so crazy to me because I had to get an iPad for college a couple years back, and it was just one of the most expensive things that I had to do, And I can't do that now, I can't just go willy-nilly go buy an iPad for myself. But kids,
you can probably find a tablet for $200, but not no iPad. They're
yeah, exactly. So it's a little tough, but I think kids nowadays do have that privilege of being exposed to technology very early on.
And that's kind of what I'm getting at too. That's just one of the benefits. Now, I'll take this for credit. For us old Gen X guys, we benefited from not having a phone somewhat. But then again, there's a lot of times where I wish I could have had some technology, but I didn't miss it because I didn't know about it.
Right.
But I think that's hindered some of the younger generation with certain things too, just because they've had Google in the palm of their hand. Right. They've not had to really think through and learn stuff sometimes.
Right. I think kids today are very overstimulated because they have all of that technology. They can get their information as quickly as possible, whereas the older generation didn't have that problem.
Hell no, we would have to ask old dudes, or we'd have to find somebody that was old to find out the answers to stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember having to actually ride my bike to my buddy's house as I was a kid. And
look at him, encyclopedia.
Yeah, exactly. So even trying to contact my friends, I didn't know that they were there unless I either called them on my phone, which we didn't always have, or I had to go over to the house just to see if they wanted to hang out. And half the time they'd be like, "Nah, I'm busy," or they wouldn't even be there.
I don't know how many times I rode to my friend's house on my bike, and their mom's like, "He can't play right now. He's doing homework."
Yeah, exactly.
I did mine already. Why ain't he done?
Yeah.
But anyway, that's just another form of empowerment I wanted to kind of point out is knowledge. I mean, that'll help be empowered. So we're going to go to a break, and we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a few minutes. Welcome back. Guys, it's EaZy Show on Transformation Talk Radio. So I just highlighted a few things of just one of the documents that I researched. And I'm not one that remembers every single thing. I have to read. That's what they have bad retention skills. Anyway, so empowerment offers an approach that allows social workers to increase the capacity of self-help that people know about. Like I'm kind of doing. But sometimes they make you feel like and I won't get into it. I'm never going to do that. Anyway, the marginalized people who lack self-sufficiency become a minimum dependent on charity or welfare. They lose their self-confidence because they cannot be fully self-supporting. The opportunities denied them also deprive them of the pride and accomplishments with others who have those opportunities can develop for themselves. This in turn can lead to psychological, social, and even mental health problems. Marginalized here refers to the overt or covert trends within the societies whereby those perceived as lacking desirable traits or deviating from the group norms tend to be excluded by wider society and ostracized by undesirables. Obviously, that has something to do with maybe a little bit of racism, a little bit of um, obviously, I forget that damn word, prejudiced, or that kind of any of that kind of stuff. And that can be with so many things: disability, um, gender, everything. There's all kinds of reasons that's why it's important for men and women to be empowered. And you have boundaries. I almost like to do a whole show about boundaries because I never had them. I never really thought about them. I'm thinking boundaries. I'm thinking playing football or something. But boundaries are just basically letting people step over a certain place or go too far. Because you can be the nicest guy, which I feel like I'm one of the nicer guys, but I can get triggered by certain things. And I was listening to, see, my retention skills are terrible. There's this minister guy. He's a young guy. He's kind of buff. You guys might know what I'm talking about. He said it's okay to get triggered, basically. It's how you deal with it after. Because he says, I never deal with that stuff at the moment. Like I don't have somebody that does something that stops me from being triggered or like fighting kind of someone insults you or somebody crosses a boundary and it makes you a little pissed off. Like maybe he came up with he was talking about road rage, and it wasn't real crazy, but yeah, somebody pulled out in front of him, didn't use a signal or nothing, and he was like, he's like, what the hell? And then pulled up next to the guy and he said, "You okay?" That's just another way of saying, what are you doing? And he said, and he was glad that he didn't go too far, but he still reacted. And then he said afterwards, is when he dealt with it, Holy Spirit told him, "Dude, what's wrong? What's going on with you?" So it's learning things like that. It's just, you have to have the ability to deal with it afterwards.
I have something to say about that, actually.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Jonathan. I'm sorry.
So I've actually been talking to my therapist, and we're talking a lot about boundaries and your reaction to things as well. So this is a very relevant conversation right now, and it
is for me too because I'm on TikTok.
Yeah, it's definitely the reaction. It's how you handle, because we all have our triggers. We these things do tend to happen to us, and as we're growing up, we don't really, like, kids aren't really taught how to like manage their emotions. So like they either like throw tantrums when they're triggered, or they get super sad when they're triggered, and all that stuff. In this case with the road rage, it's like like
I have it.
Yeah, I have it. I'm from New Jersey. Like I'm like usually like weaving in and out of traffic, really just yelling at everybody.
You're the one being yelled at usually. It pisses you off. That's so funny. That's so hot. That's such a.
But like I just need to, like, in those moments, I need to be able to like take a breath and like know that that the only thing that I can do is like I can try to focus on making the situation better, not worse. And in those moments, like sometimes I get so emotional that I can't stop to think. And that's my problem. Like I need to be able to like have that moment of clarity.
Sometimes you can't do it with a reaction.
You just can't.
Reaction. You can't stop and think, okay, I can't react. Reacting is reacting.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like it's hard for me to like take a step back in those moments of like emotional like triggers, because there's just so much going on in my brain. I just can't I feel like I deserve to feel this way, that I deserve to feel angry or upset. So like I don't allow myself to calm down, and then afterwards I think about how much of a jerk I've been being because I didn't allow myself to calm down like that.
And it depends on, sometimes it could be like if we're just in a bad mood anyway,
right?
It makes it easier to do. Or like maybe like, for instance, me, sometimes I can go, what? Like when you call me, I'm all frustrated because I'm doing something.
Right.
And somebody keeps calling, like these telemarketers, they don't like me. I'm very mean to them.
Yeah.
It just gets old over and over and over, guys. Anyway, it is how you work through it afterwards, though. And that's what he was kind of discussing.
Right.
I'm trying to think of his name. It drives me crazy. He's just like one of us, but he's a pastor, I believe, or whatever he is. But he's become pretty popular, pretty famous. He's a little short off, a little stubby, stocky dude. But I like listening to him. So anyway, yeah. So empowering yourself is also being able to empower your control of yourself, not letting yourself let's say, for instance, something that it's a real near dear to me that drives me crazy is when a man puts his hands on a woman or a woman puts her hands on a man. Either way,
Equality.
you have to have control over that. That's empowering yourself to not do it. Empowering yourself doesn't mean fight everybody. You're the baddest. It's having control over how you let people bother you or affect you, or how you let yourself be affected, and then how you respond when you're being affected. Like I got to be honest with you. I mean, I'm on TikTok, and I've gotten a lot better because I know kind of a lot of things now. But when people kind of come at me or like call me a liar or somebody, my integrity, that's one of my triggers, because I don't ever try to lie to anybody. I don't like to mislead anybody. My conscience won't let me do that. I feel guilty. But when someone says that I'm doing that, like, prove it then. Like I would never lie to anybody. So I've learned to not let it affect me as much. But that's a man thing, I think. Men are just, it's masculinity. It's what do they call that? Testosterone. I know I got plenty, because I know I never was one that got in fights when I was younger. I was the peacemaker, but I got pulled into them sometimes because of my friends. It was just the way it was. I really didn't want to, though. I don't even want to hurt people. I definitely don't want to hurt a woman. Spanked my daughter once, and I apologized to her. Not that I don't believe in it. I still believe in spanking. I just can't do it. But my point is you have to be able to control your reactions to things, and it's not easy. But it's how you deal with them. But it's also controlling how you let people talk to you or how they treat you. And it doesn't always have to be a trigger. You don't always have to get mad about it. You just don't talk to those people, or you stay away from those people. Don't let people walk across your boundaries. But also, don't be afraid to go get something you want, a job. Maybe you want to get something really cool that you need, saving the money or whatever, or working 2 jobs. Whatever you got to do, you go do it. Always have the mindset that it's possible. They say manifesting. I don't know how many people know about that. I don't know a ton of it, but I get it. I get the hint of it. You manifest it. Like, there's a lot of things we manifest that we don't mean to manifest. And that sometimes can put us in a bad place. That's why I always talk about manifesting positivity. I used to be the most negative person most of my life. And just because I had so many things that would go against me, and some of them my own doing, but some of them just bad luck, I guess, whatever. But I used to just feel like, my luck, man, my luck. And then somebody one of my bosses said to me one day, "You're a glass half empty kind of guy, aren't you?" And I sat and thought for a second. I go, you know what? I think I am. I always think the worst and hope for the best. And he goes, "That's such a up way to live." And I go, "It sure as hell is." And that's kind of the moment I changed. And I've had some bad luck still, but I stay positive, and it keeps me more grounded and just happier overall. But I have my boundaries, and I've learned that. And then, of course, my faith is always big for me. Believing that there's somebody that got your back at all times. And being for me, I lost my mother. I lost a lot of my family, a lot of my friends, all because of certain reasons. But I've been going at it alone. But I'm stronger now than I've ever been because I got myself empowered. And I can do that for you guys too. But we're getting down to the end of the show. I wish I had another little bit of time, but we got next week. Hopefully you guys will join me. Be kicking off my website here soon too, my new one. So look for it. We'll see you later. Because It's Easy Show. The Transformation Talk Radio. You have been listening to the Because It's Easy Show with me, Coach EaZy. Empowered empath, empowering mindsets, and building confidence through adversities. Tune in every Tuesday at 3:30 Pacific, 5:30 Central Time on TransformationTalkRadio.com, where I, Coach EaZy, will show you the easy way to make your life simple, abundant, and amazing. No matter what you have experienced in your life, you can feel positive, confident, learn to laugh, and have fun again. For more information on the Cuz It's Easy approach, visit CuzIt'sEazy.com. Cuz, C-U-Z, it's easy, EaZy.com.